just waiting for the Navy flyover. And here it is. Just to beat the sight, get you chills. Sellout crowd here at Chavez Ravine. The season opener for the Los Angeles Dodgers on the 2010 season. We have first pitch, D-backs and the Dodgers. Vince Scully has the call next.
completed, and this Dodger team takes the next step and reaches their ultimate goal. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be. We are at Dodger Stadium for opening day, and although it is game number 7 for the Dodgers and game number 7 for Arizona, with everybody here in the ballpark, this moment, this day is the beginning of the season. For the Arizona Diamondbacks, they have started out by winning 4 of 6. Last year, they started losing 4 of 6. They come in here having scored 13 runs Sunday in the 4th inning to pummel the Pirates. It is a team that had 173 home runs last year. And it was a team that had only a .240 batting average with runners in scoring position. That was worst in the league, and yet A.J. Hinch's boys could pile up the runs. Well, they've already started to pile, and here's the way they stack up today. Connor Jackson leads off in left field. Stephen Drew at short. Justin Upton in right field. Adam LaRoche at first base. Mark Reynolds, the big thunder stick, is at third base. Chris Young in center field. Kelly Johnson at second base. Chris Snyder, the catcher. Miguel Montero wrecked his knee. He's probably going to be out a good 2 months at least. And Ian Kennedy, a local boy, will be on the mound for Arizona. Everybody talks about Clayton Kershaw, and they all say the same thing, that maybe he'll be another Koufax. Well, he has already tied Sandy Koufax in one area, and that is he is pitching an opening day assignment. Unless my research and memory has gone blank, I believe Sandy, in all of his greatness, only pitched one opening day game. And so here is Clayton Kershaw at 22 given the assignment. Listening to Broadway music the other day, got a feeling for the title of a song which certainly seems to apply to opening day. You may remember the show and the movie All That Jazz, and the song was Everything Old is New Again. And that's exactly the way you feel on opening day. The stadium opened up in '62. The baselines haven't changed. The foul lines haven't changed. Everything old is new indeed, as Connor Jackson takes a strike, and the Cowboys won. Connor Jackson, big, good-looking outfielder, and hit by valley fever last year, which almost ruined his career. Swings, fouls a pitch away off to the right, and the count 0-2. He was a first-round pick by the D-backs out of the University of California. And when he is healthy, and he certainly was far from being healthy last year, one of his trademarks, he's one of the rare hitters who walks about as many times as he strikes out, and he flares one into right field for a base hit. So on a no-ball, 2-strike count, Connor Jackson leads off with a single to right. Give us a chance to set the Dodgers defensively with Ramirez, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield. Blake, Furcal, DeWitt, and Loney on the infield. Russell Martin will be behind the plate handling Clayton Kershaw. So Connor Jackson at single to right, and the batter now is Stephen Drew. Drew, as he checks into the plate, has now become a veteran at shortstop, the younger brother of J.D., and he takes a hook off the plate. 1 ball and no strikes they count to Stephen Drew. Drew looking down to his third base coach, and that's Bo Porter, to see if there might be a play put on. 2 years ago, Drew hit for the cycle. One of the rare Arizona players to ever do that. Big swing and a miss. And they count 1 ball and 1 strike. In fact, when he hit for the cycle, he got his name in the books along with Luis Gonzalez. So Stephen, a veteran now. He'll be 27 from Hahira, Georgia. Connor Jackson held on by Loney as Kershaw out of his set position. Freezes now to the plate, and he's in the dirt. It gets away from Martin, who has lost sight of the ball, and down to second goes Connor Jackson. If you have been reading, Dylan Hernandez had a story today about the new pitch, basically, that Clayton Kershaw has. He has always had the good fastball, and as it was called, a waterfall curve, 12-6. But he is also working on a slider with a lot of bite to it, and he bounced that one, and on the wild pitch, Connie Jackson is now at second base. So the D-backs with the runner at scoring position. Remember, they were so poor at that last year. Drew takes a strike, and the count runs to 2-2. The Dodgers opening up. Well, their record, if it really means anything, over the years since 1958, they are 27-25. And here at Dodger Stadium, they're a break-even 24-24. 2-2 the count is Stephen Drew, and he pops one up to shortstop Rafael Furcal. Sunglasses glistening, and Rafael makes the play. Puffy white clouds up there, but they are small little islands of white. They're not going to protect you very much at all. A little puff here and a little puff there, and that's about it. So Drew pops up, failing to advance Jackson, and of course that's a bad at-bat. And the batter now is Justin Upton. And Upton has certainly started faster than last year. Last year, at the end of 6 games, he was hitting less than 100. He was hitting 063. He takes a big breaking ball for a strike. This year he comes into the game hitting 286. Another thing, last year he struck out 7 times and walked once. Right now, showing a little maturity in plate discipline, he has struck out 7 and walked 5 times. So Upton waiting, the strike 1 pitch on the way. Justin swings, grounds it foul outside of third and down the line. And the count 0-2. Some of the young players on this Arizona ball club, they are the second youngest team in the National League behind the Florida Marlins. And of course they have a very young manager in A.J. Hinch. Chris Young draped on the railing, another of the youngsters. Upton will be 23 in August. That's how young he is. A look back at second, that sent Connor Jackson sprawling in the dirt. So Justin and his brother B.J., the highest drafted brothers in baseball history. Justin a first-round pick, and B.J. the second pick in the 2002 draft. Chases a pitch in the dirt, scooped up by Martin to throw him out. So for Arizona, a reminder, at least for the moment, of something that bothered them last year. A leadoff single by Jackson. He's wild pitch to second. Drew pops it up, and a breaking ball in the dirt is swung on and missed without further advancement. So 2 down here in the first inning, and now Adam LaRoche. LaRoche, the left-hand hitting first baseman, and his brother Andy. Adam LaRoche, they hope, will provide some left-handed power. Of course, the father, Dave LaRoche, a successful major league pitcher, and the first one is up and in. Ball 1 to Adam. 0-0. Adam has a very good sense of humor, and we can tell you why. He has a big ranch. He lives in Fort Scott, Kansas, and he has a branding iron for the cattle. And you know what the brand is? E3, which is what you write in your book when a first baseman makes an error. Breaking ball, dips in for a strike, and the count 1-1. His brother Andy signed with the Dodgers back in 2003, but never quite cut it. So here is Adam. Been with the Braves for quite a while, then the Pirates and the Red Sox, and now here he is with Arizona. Left-hand hitter swings right through it, and the count 1-2. Kershaw last year, 8 wins, 8 losses, and in his young career he is 0-1 against Arizona. So a runner at second, 2 out, 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Adam LaRoche. This crowd wants a K. The Dodgers, of course, would settle for just an out. And the 1-2 pitch, big breaking ball, but it stayed up. The curveball, not quite a waterfall that time. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. So the deuces are wild. 2-2, 2 out and a runner at second. First inning, no score. Dodgers, of course, have to be careful about Arizona's power. 2-2 the count. Adam LaRose swung on and missed, and down he goes. So Kershaw strikes out Upton and LaRose, leaves Connor Jackson at second, and at the end of half an inning, no score. Coming up now, and we'll take a look at Joe Torre's lineup. No surprises there at all, except for the fact that Andre Ethier's back, having twisted his ankle on the road. So it is Rafael Furcal and Matt Kemp, then Andre Ethier and Manny Ramirez, James Loney, Casey Blake, Blake DeWitt, Russell Martin, and Clayton Kershaw, who, by the way, made 16 pitches to breeze through the first inning. Ian Kennedy. He's a young fella out of Huntington Beach and went to school at USC. He was a first-round pick by the Yankees just 4 years ago. Gets a strike to Rafael Furcal. Kennedy, an even 6, 195, born and still lives in Huntington Beach. Went to La Quinta High School, drafted by the Cardinals but turned them down to go to SC. Furcal takes low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Rafael, in this young year, where averages, nothing else mean very much, but he is hitting over 300, and that's worth commenting. The 1-1 pitch on the way is hit in the air to right field and deep, up and going back to the track, and makes an over-the-shoulder catch, going away. So Rafael Furcal, a long out to right. Let's take a look at the D-backs defensively after that play. Jackson, Young, and Upton in the outfield. And the infield, Adam LaRoche and Kelly Johnson, Stephen Drew at short, Mark Reynolds at third, and the battery, Chris Snyder and Ian Kennedy. And the batter now, a Silver Slugger Award winner and a Gold Glove from last year, Matt Kemp, hitting .321. He has a home run and 7 runs batted in. First pitch in for a strike, 0-1. Joe Torre managed Ian Kennedy for the Yankees in 2007, and the first thing Joe remembers was Kennedy's wedding day. Here's the strike 1 pitch, and it's poked on the ground. Late start, but stopped by Kelly Johnson to throw him out. Kelly either lost that ground ball in the shirt sleeves or broke the other way, but he was able to recover to get Kemp. And now Andre Ethier coming up. We talked about Kennedy's wedding date. He set it for October the 6th, 2007. That was right in the middle of a potential American League Division Series. Well, as it turned out, he was able to get married in St. Louis and then come back and join the Yankees. but he sure cut it close. And Joe remembers that, plus the fact if Kennedy, like any other big league pitcher, gets out in front early in the count, he is very tough. So here's Ethier now. Young Ian, a fastball low and away. 1 ball and no strike. For Ethier, he has always hit right-handers exceptionally well. In his young career, he's hitting .303. That's a good 50 points more than against left-hand pitching. The 1-0 pitch, and Andre takes low and away. Ball 2. So Ethier hitting .300. Andre in and out of the box. No score. Bottom of the first inning. We are just starting. And the 2-0 pitch on the way. Low and away. Ball 3, 3-0. Opening day, as Manny Ramirez waits on deck. Probably the worst series of opening days had to be the Atlanta Braves from 1972 to 1980. They lost 9 straight opening days. Pitched Ethier in for a strike. We were talking before about Sandy Koufax pitching an opening day game only once. Henry Aaron hit 755 home runs. He hit 2 in over 20 years in the big leagues on opening day. Ethier fouls it away. He hit 1 for Milwaukee opening day against the Cubs, and that was back in 1956. And then he hit the famous one opening day against Cincinnati when he hit the home run to tie the great Babe Ruth. 3-2 the count to Andre Ethier. 2 down, first inning, no score. Kennedy turns on the rubber. Ian ready, and here he comes. Swung on and foul back. By the way, while we're on the subject of hitting a home run opening day, Joe Torre in the Dodger dugout hit 2 home runs on an opening day game twice, for Milwaukee against Cincinnati and for Atlanta against Pittsburgh. The other great hitter for Atlanta and Milwaukee, Eddie Matthews, did it. 3-2 pitch on the way is swung on. High fly ball up into that powder blue. Justin Upton has to come in and make the catch for the out, fighting the sun all the way. So thanks to the play by Upton on for call. At the end of an inning, no score. Dodgers and the D-backs. Last year, the Dodgers won 11 of the 18, winning 6 of the 9 here against Arizona. For the D-backs, it'll be Reynolds, Young, and Johnson in that order. Kershaw made 16 pitches in the first inning. And Arizona went 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, which picked up right where they left off last year. Mark Reynolds, one of the most powerful hitters in the game, but he also strikes out an awful lot. And the pitch to him is a little low, and a 2-ball, no strike count. Mark Reynolds, 27 in August out of Pikeville, Kentucky. Back in 07, he had an all-time record for strikeouts in consecutive plate appearances. He struck out 9 straight times, which was a record for a hitter. That excludes pitchers. And by doing that, he put all of us on notice. And last year, he struck out 223 times to set a record. He takes a strike, and they count 3-1. So he is the poster boy for feast or famine, because when he does connect, he hit 44 home runs last year with 102 runs batted in. Swings, doesn't get it, and the count goes to 3-2. Reynolds waiting, 3-2 the count. Now the pitch to the right-hand hitting third baseman is swung on and fouled back. 2 years ago, Reynolds made 35 errors at third base, and that really jumped out at you because nobody else had made as many as 24. But at the same time, boy, he carries thunder in that bat. 3-2 to Mark Reynolds, and Kershaw's pitch is swung on and missed, and down he goes. 3 consecutive strikeouts now for Clayton Kershaw, nailing Messrs. Upton, LaRoche, and Reynolds. And the batter now is Chris Young. There are a lot of people following the D-backs who figure that this is a make-or-break year for Chris Young. I mean, 3 years ago, they saw Young hit 30 home runs, steal 20 bases. The only other rookie to do that was Nomar Garciaparra. So they figured, whoa, they've really got a star. But it's so tough. His home runs dropped to 22, then last year 15. Swings, doesn't get it, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So Chris Young out of Houston, Texas. High schooler, played against James Loney. We've told that story before. He's from Houston. And the 1-1 pitch outside and high, ball 2, 2-1. Young is a fly ball hitter. It is a rare thing indeed for him to hit a ground ball. His on-base percentage is not good. The 2-1 pitch on the way, and Chris lays off one that's up and outside, ball 3, 3-1. When Young was in high school, he went to Bel Air High School. Loney went to Lawrence Elkins, and they had a big pressure game in a high school playoff. He fouls a pitch back. Loney hit a ball, and Chris Young, going after it, collided with his teammate and broke his arm. During that game, Loney was actually pitching in high school, and Young got a base hit against him. 3-2, and the right-hand hitter swings and pops it up behind the plate to Russell Martin, who makes the catch for the second out. So true to form, Reynolds strikes out, and Young hits the ball in the air. And the batter now is Kelly Johnson. So Young, somewhat frustrated, goes back to the dugout. And here is Kelly, plagued with a bad wrist last year. As an infielder, he still had to have Tommy John surgery a few years ago. A #1 pick by the Braves back in 2000, and takes a strike, 0-1. His brother was a collegiate soccer player, and his grandfather was a college hockey player. So there's a lot of athletic genes in the Johnson family. 1-1 the count to Kelly. 28 years old, 6'1", 205-pounder. Takes a look at a strike. He made his major league debut in May and broke in hitting .417 with 3 home runs and 11 RBIs. The 1-2 pitch. Kelly swings, lifts it to shallow right. Ethier was going the wrong way, but he comes back in to pick it up. He was leaning to go back and was able to recover. So that's 6 in a row retired by Kershaw. Inning and a half, no score. And if anybody figures to make some noise in this series based on past performances, it would be Manny Ramirez. Since he joined the Dodgers, he's hit .450 against Arizona. And Kennedy's first pitch is a fastball low and off the plate, ball 1. Manny has 10 home runs against Arizona, 36 hits. His slugging average against Arizona is somewhat unbelievable, .925. So they know him. He's on every post office wall in Arizona, but this time he skies one into shallow right. Upton signaling as he comes halfway to the infield and bends at the knees to stay with it. Any ball hit up today is an adventure in that bright sky. So Ramirez doesn't hang around very long. One away. And Kennedy apparently throwing pretty hard and already 3 fly balls to right field. So a brilliant blue canopy punctuated by clouds. They aren't very big, so they really don't give you any shelter from the sun and the glare. Here's James Loney. He's another Dodger who has done well against Arizona pitching. However, last year, for the first time, he struggled against them. He takes down and away, ball 1. From 06, 07, and 08, Loney hit .390 against Arizona, but last year he hit only .242. The 1-0 pitch on the way, and Kennedy deals, and that's beaten into the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. So it's the Dodgers and the D-backs. Ian Kennedy and Clayton Kershaw. Tomorrow, Chad Billingsley and Rodrigo Lopez. The concluding game of the series, Hiroki Kuroda and Dan Harron. 1-1 pitch on the way. Kennedy changes up a little bit, leaves it high. 2-1 the count. So the Dodgers opening up. The greatest streak of opening up games belong to the Cincinnati Reds because the Cincinnati Red Stockings, the first professional baseball team. 2-1 pitch is off the plate. The Reds opened up at home 76 straight years into 1965. They were supposed to open in 66, and the entire series was rained out, and they had to open the year on the road. But they had 97 straight years opening up in Cincinnati. Meanwhile, Loney hits one just fair inside the left field foul line, and James jogs into second base with a wrong field double. So a one-out double to left by James Loney. The pitch had some movement to it, and James just went with it and stroked it the other way. So Loney, after struggling for the first time against Arizona last year, begins this year with an extra base hit. And the batter now will be Casey Blake. Casey trying to pick him up. Off to a good start, a .375 batting average. Kennedy has to pitch out of a stretch for the first time today. And the right-hander turns on the rubber and bluffs a throw back to second base. When Kennedy was at USC, he absolutely dominated college hitters with 158 strikeouts. Right-hander ready. Kennedy delivers over the top. Good fastball at the knees for a strike. 0-1. Kennedy went to the Diamondbacks in a 3-team blockbuster trade. Detroit's Curtis Granderson went to New York. Tiger right-hander Edwin Jackson and Ian Kennedy went from Detroit to Arizona. Max Scherzer and Daniel Schlereth of the D-backs went to Detroit. Strike one pitch is low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Basically, Kennedy comes at you with a fastball, slider, a curveball. He has a cutter and a changeup. Beautiful day and a beautiful ballpark, filled to capacity. Eric Hansen and his crew doing another magnificent job. Emerald green rug out there. The 1-1 pitch on the way in the dirt, blocked nicely by Chris Snyder, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. For Chris Snyder, he's got a tough role to play now. He started spring training, as he finished last year, as the backup catcher, because Miguel Montero really came into his own last year. And then Montero, just this weekend against Pittsburgh, wrecked his knee running to first base, tore the meniscus, and so Chris Snyder is now the #1 catcher. They've called up a young fella out of Stanford, John Hester, to back up. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way to Casey Blake, and again Kennedy keeping an eye on his runner, and a full turn to drive him back. Ian Kennedy basically tries to keep that ball down. He's only had 1 ground ball through the first 5 hitters, however. 2-1 pitch is down, 2 down, and it's 3-1 to count. Waiting his turn on deck, second baseman Blake DeWitt. So Casey Blake waiting. 3-1 to count to the man from Iowa, clean shaven. The beard is gone. The beard is history. He looks 10 years younger. And the 3-1 pitch coming up, a throw back to Kelly Johnson, but Loney is in there on his hands and knees. No score, bottom of the second inning. Arizona had Connor Jackson at second with nobody out. He failed to score. Loney is out there with 1 out. And the 3-1 pitch to Casey Blake swung on and missed. From the way he attacked that pitch, I think Casey was guessing fastball, and he was out in front of it. 3-2 the count. He had that leg cocked, and he was ready to pull the trigger before the ball got there. So 3-2 the count to Casey Blake. Kennedy squints in from underneath the bill of that red cap. Now the right-hander ready, and the 3-2 pitch way inside, and it might have nicked him. Yep. So hit by the pitch, the ball is dead, and Casey Blake goes to first base. A.J. Hinch, 35 years old, the youngest manager in baseball history was Roger Peckinpah Peckinpah managed the Yankees at the tender age of 23. Lou Boudreau managed Cleveland at the age of 24. Bucky Harris managed at the age of 29. So there is A.J. at the helm for the second year. Bob Melvin, successor. Here now, Blake DeWitt trying to pick up somebody. And the first pitch off the plate and low. And Snyder going out to talk to Kennedy. 1 ball and no strikes. Blake DeWitt has the second base job with shadows directly behind him. Jamie Carroll and Ronnie Belliard. Snyder out to talk to Kennedy. Now Big Chris going back behind the plate. Interesting thing, a note about Chris Snyder to bring it up to date. He's out of Houston, Texas, and he has not committed an error in 200 games. That's the major's longest active streak among catchers. His last error, August 20th, 2007. The 1-0 pitch in for a strike, and the count 1-1. So DeWitt looks down to Larry Boa to see if there might be something doing. Russell Martin waiting on deck. 1 out, second inning, no score. Dodgers with Loney at second, Blake at first. And a beach ball or a balloon loose on the left field warning track. So timeout for the moment. All right, they've retrieved it. Blake DeWitt backs out. Now coming back in. Loney and Blake out on the lines. DeWitt waiting. Coming off a good spring. Kennedy, right foot on the rubber, set at the belt. A look back at Loney. Now the right-hander deals, and he's low again. So in trying to keep the ball down, he has been too low and digging a bit of a hole. Ramirez flied to shallow right. Loney doubled the left, and Blake hit by a pitch. So DeWitt hitting .267, coming off the series in Pittsburgh and Florida. Out of his stretch goes Kennedy. The 2-1 pitch, and Blake DeWitt takes in the dirt all the way to the backstop. The runners move up 90 feet as Snyder retrieves. So the Dodgers now have runners at second and third with 1 out. Loney advancing to third on the wild pitch, and Blake advancing to second. So Kershaw had a wild pitch in the first inning, but got away with it. This thing that bounced right over the right shoulder of Snyder might have nailed Greg Gibson, the plate umpire, a glancing blow, and then went all the way back to the backstop. So second and third, 1 out, no score, bottom of the second inning. Kennedy in trouble, looking down to Snyder, waiting on deck. Russell Martin with 1 out. And the 3-1 pitch, and DeWitt takes ball 4 to load the bases. So a double to left, a hit batter and a walk. And it's standing room only out there as Russell Martin comes up. Martin in the early going has a home run, a run batted in, and hitting .364. And this big crowd ready to let loose should Martin do the same. All right, Russell checks in. 1 out, second inning, no score. He's done very well in his young career in a bases loaded situation. Kennedy's first pitch is low, ball 1. Martin hitting .368 with the bases loaded. Want to know the count. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way coming up. Kennedy deals, and this one is off the plate. So 2-0 the count to Russell Martin. Anxious moment from A.J. Hinch, who hollers out to the plate umpire, where's that ball? I think from where he is, he thought that picked up the corner. 2-0 the count to Russell Martin. Again, Kennedy at the belt, now ready. And out of his stretch, 2-0. Drops it high. Ball 3. So now 1 pitch away from walking over a run. Well, the boy from Huntington Beach in trouble. A lot of the people here in the ballpark are up and at him. Everybody getting up. Now the 3-0 pitch to Martin is a strike. 3-1. So Kennedy wears the count. 3-1. No score. Bottom of the second inning. Loney, Blake, and DeWitt are all out on the lines. Ian checking. Now out of his stretch. And the 3-1 pitch coming up is swung on. A drive to center. Going back on the ball is Young to make the catch. 2 runners tag. Loney will score. Blake goes to third, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. So Russell Martin, a scoring fly ball on a 3-1 pitch, and the Dodgers take a lead. And Clayton Kershaw coming up. Still first and third with 2 out. Casey Blake standing at third. Blake DeWitt over at first. And here's Kershaw trying to help his own cause now with 2 out. Dodgers 1, D-backs nothing. Bottom of the second inning. Kennedy trying to get out of the inning cheaply enough. And the right-hander deals and gets it in there for a strike. And the count 0-1. Now Kershaw takes a look at Larry Boa before getting back up to the plate. Blake DeWitt, a very short lead at first, tries to increase it a little. Kennedy comes back and works it low, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Ian Kennedy made only 12 pitches in the first inning, but he's labored a bit here. He has now made 25 pitches in this inning. Kennedy again at the belt, now set, and the 1-1 pitch to Kershaw swung on and missed. 1-2. Kershaw not afraid to get right up on top of the plate. 1-2 the count to Clayton. Of course, he's young enough to still think he might hit. 1-2 the count. Slightly open stance now, more so than on the last pitch, and fouls it away. Kershaw bats left-handed, right foot closer towards first base, but then he swings it in there towards home plate on the delivery. Kershaw trying to help. 1-2 the count. Runners at first and third, 2 out, 1 in, and the Dodgers lead 1-0. Here comes Kennedy in the dirt. Nice save by Chris Snyder. That could have been his second wild pitch of the inning. 2-2 the count, and Kershaw another long look at Larry Boa, who was over to say something to the base runner Casey Blake. Ian Kennedy, who was born Christmas week in 1984, a #1 pick by the Yankees. Boy, that's rare for the Yankees to select #1 and then let him get away. 2-2 the count. Kennedy sets just above the letters. Right-handed deals, and it's waved at. Not much of a swing, and down goes Kershaw on a good fastball. But the Dodgers get 1, and at the end of 2, Dodgers 1, D-backs nothing. looking back over opening days over the years, and for any owner of a ball club, he wants his ballpark to be sparkling opening day. It's like you or I would want to make sure the house is clean if you're expecting guests to come over. Just think of 1946. World War II was over. The major league players who had gone into service had come back to play. The spirit of optimism, of joy and relief throughout the country, oh, it was amazing. And the Brooklyn Dodgers were opening up the season in Boston with the Boston Braves before they moved to Milwaukee and then ultimately Atlanta. And the owners of Braves Field in Boston wanted their ballpark to be sparkling for this great opening day. So, among other things, they painted a lot of seats. Chris Snyder looks at a strike. Well, it also turned out to be a kind of a damp, rainy week. And opening day was okay, but the paint did not dry on the seats. As Snyder takes in the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. When the game was over, Boston had won the game. They beat the Dodgers 5-3. They had 18,000 people in attendance, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people came to the box office to complain. They had paint all over their clothes. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's high, ball 2, 2-1. So what did management do? They not only gave them their money back, they also said they would pick up the dry cleaning. That was quite an opening day. The 2-1 pitch is taken for a strike, 2-2. So cleanliness is next to godliness, except on opening day. 2-2 the count to Big Snyder. Kershaw now with a 1-0 lead. And the left-hander ready and comes back 2-2. Swung on and missed. So down goes Snyder. That's 4 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw, who's retired 7 in a row. You know, the beach is back. Bleacher Beach at Dodger Stadium, open Friday through Sunday. Beach bums enjoy unlimited food, a private beach party, compliments of Bud Light, and starting Friday, fans receive a Bleacher Beach towel. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/beach or call 866-DODGERS. 1 ball and no strikes the count to Ian Kennedy. Right-hand pitcher, bats right-handed, takes a pitch low. So Kershaw behind 2-0 the count. One run, 1 hit for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit for Arizona. Kershaw's fastball fouled away. Not bad for Ian Kennedy, a pitcher, to foul off a pretty good fastball, and the count 2-1. Now the 2-1 pitch coming up is a hard hopper to shortstop. Furcal stays with it, throws him out, but make a note. You have to think that Ian Kennedy is not a bad hitter as he grounds to short. 2 out. That's 8 in a row retired by Kershaw. Remember, he gave up that flare single to right to Connor Jackson, who reached second on a wild pitch and stayed there. So here's Connor with 2 out in the third, 1-0 Dodgers. So Connor coming back from valley fever, and that really is a debilitating. You get it really from breathing the air, perhaps in Arizona. But all you have to do is turn over the soil. It releases spores into the air, and if you're unlucky and you breathe it in, valley fever. The 1-0 pitch, check swing for a strike, and the count 1-1. I remember one night we were in Arizona after Connor had been ill, and the wind came up blowing sand and dust into the ballpark, and the first thought I had was valley fever, believe me. The pitch to Connor is low, 2-1. I mean, he's 6'2", broad-shouldered, 225 pounds, and it brought him to his knees. He just couldn't play. He tried to. 2-1 pitch, low and inside, ball 3, 3-1. No power last year. Gave it a try for 30 games and had 1 home run. Played 3 games in Visalia and that was enough. He just couldn't play. Now he takes off the plate, ball 4. So that breaks the string of 8 in a row as Connor Jackson gets the walk. And the batter now is Stephen Drew, who popped a short in the first inning. Kershaw now up to 47 pitches. Last time out, Kershaw, among other things, lasted a total of 4 2/3. All right, the left-hander, big stretch, now set at the chest, throws over to first. Connor just did get back. He was slightly late in reacting, and Connor Jackson just does beat the throw. He started to lean towards second, and boy, once you lean, it's trouble. Jackson 2 years ago stole 10 bases. That's the only time he has ever stolen in double figures. So Jackson at first base, 2 out, third inning, 1-0 in favor of the Dodgers. Dodgers won 6 of 9 from Arizona here, 4 of 9 in Arizona last year. All right, Kershaw ready, and another visit to first base, and Jackson back of the bag. The old story, of course, with 2 out, if you run the leadoff man, if he makes it, you have something going. If you get him to end the inning, okay, you have the number 2 hitter leading off in the next inning. So Jackson takes a pretty good lead. Kershaw looking at him now to the plate, and there's a high fly ball to left field. Ramirez comes in, moves to his right, two-handed catch, and that's the end of the inning. So no runs, no hits, a man left at the end of 2.5, 1-0 Dodgers. Camp and Andre Ethier. The Dodger run came in the second inning. A 1-out double to left by Loney. A wild pitch and a hit batter and a walk had him at third, and he scored on Russell Martin's fly ball to center. Urkel shows bunt, takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Raphael will show bunt to make the third baseman charge, and then, especially left-handed, he'll try to slap it between the charging third baseman and the mound. The strike one pitch he takes, and it dips in for a strike. 0-2 the count. For call, long fly ball to right. Justin Upton made a fine catch over the shoulder going away. Now the strike 2 pitch on the way. Fastball whacked to dead center. Gone back is Young to make the catch. So Kennedy got away with a bad pitch, 0-2, and he kind of looked back at Snyder. One away. That'll bring up Matt Kemp. You know, you can join the Dodgers Thursday night. They honor Jackie Robinson, 63rd anniversary of his historic Major League debut. You can take part in the celebration. Save big with a special offer only available online at Dodgers.com/eSavers. And here is Matt Kemp, grounded out to Kelly Johnson, and takes low, ball one, 1-0. Matt hitting .321. He has a home run, 7 RBIs. He'll go home tonight with a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger bat. He was awarded both before the game and pregame ceremonies. Pitch off the plate, 2 balls and no strikes. Kennedy into the windup, and the right-hander's 2-0 pitch, and that's in there. A reminder again, Chad Billingsley and Rodrigo Lopez tomorrow night. Thursday night, Hiroki Kuroda and Dan Haren. And then for the weekend, the San Francisco Giants. So Billingsley taking in the action right now as Kennedy is low to Kemp, and the count goes 3-1. Ian struggled in the second inning. Remember, he made 29 pitches. Now his 3-1 pitch coming up. Kennedy deals, check swing. It's going to cost a strike on what looked like a slider down and away and way off the plate. So 3-2 the count to Matt Kemp. 1 run, 1 hit for the Dodgers. No runs, 1 hit for the D-backs. Matt waiting, and the 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. So by chasing the slider down and away, he not only did not walk, he then turns around and strikes out. So 2 out in the third inning. Second strikeout for Ian Kennedy. And now Andre Ethier. Ethier flied to right field in the first inning as Kemp walks back empty-handed. Andre, just trying to step back at first base on a throw to first on the road, twisted his ankle. Kennedy into the windup. Ian ready and deals, and it's probably smoked to center. Young goes back, reaches up, and makes the catch on the warning track. So Ethier hits it hard but lines out, and at the end of 3, 1-0 Dodgers. Opening day at Dodger Stadium, and the Dodgers leading 1-0. Arizona will have Justin Upton, followed by Adam LaRoche, and then Mark Reynolds. That's a strike. Upton homered in 3 straight games in April of 2008. That made him only the 4th player in Major League history to homer in 3 straight at the age of 20 or younger. He was 20 at the time. Who are the others? Jimmy Sheckard of the old Brooklyn Dodgers, Mel Ott of the New York Giants, who did it twice, and Willie Mays. 0-2 the count. Ties him up, strikes him out. So Upton strikes out a second time as Kershaw crowds him, pitches him up and in, and just throws it right by him. Right in there. So that would be 5 strikeouts for Clayton Kershaw, and Adam LaRoche coming up. Clayton trying to hold on to a 1-0 lead. Off the plate, ball 1. Adam LaRoche kind of broke in with a bang. Back in 2004. He became the first National Leaguer to ever record his first 2 hits in the same inning. He did it against the Mets' Steve Traxel. Breaking ball strike, 2-1. Adam also was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder when he was a youngster, and he has to really work hard sometimes. This time he lifts one into deep left center. Kemp at the wall, reaches up, can't make the play as he slams into the bricks. And holding on at second base with a long double is Adam LaRoche. Kemp, running to his right, went hard into the wall in pursuit of the ball, and LaRoche has himself a stand-up double. Kemp feeling for the ball, then went high in the air and just slammed into the wall. Never did get his glove on the ball. Shook himself up, I'm sure. So LaRoche might have attention deficit disorder, but he does know he's just bombed a double. And as he said, he has to constantly check to see how many outs there are. So there's 1 away. LaRoche the tying run at second, and here is Mark Reynolds. 0-1 to the free swinger. When you talk to some of the Arizona executives about Reynolds, they say, yeah, he strikes out, but look at the people he's homered against. Matt Cain twice, Zach Greinke, Felix Hernandez, Ubaldo Hernandez, Jonathan Broxton, Keith Bell. Of course, he also struck out 223 times. Last year, Reynolds had the flu and lost about 20 pounds, but he has regained that. So he is certainly a force to be reckoned with. 0-2. Reynolds coming into the game has 2 home runs, 4 runs batted in, 7 strikeouts, 1 today, so he's already struck out 8 times. This is the 7th game, trying to pick up LaRoche, the tying run at second base. 2-2. Clayton Kershaw made 45 pitches in his, actually 48 in the first 3 innings. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Reynolds, 6'1", 200-pounder with tremendous power. Went to school at the University of Virginia. Played with Ryan Zimmerman and Joe Krashansky, who came up with Colorado. He was 16th round pick because he injured his wrist in his junior season, and that really dented his draft prospects. Reynolds has played USA baseball in 6 different events. Team USA in Cuba, the qualifying tournament. He's got a good baseball background. 2-2. And down he goes. So Reynolds strikes out a second time. 6 strikeouts for Kershaw. And a reminder, we're in the home stretch for the 2010 census, and it's not too late. Fill it out, mail it back. Your census form today. It sure doesn't take long. So Kershaw with a half a dozen strikeouts. LaRoche at second base. And with 2 out, here is Chris Young. Chris, right-hand batter. Last year, Young had such a poor start, he was sent to AAA. He was hitting only 194 in August. That was the lowest average among those with enough at-bats to qualify for the batting title. So they sent him out. 0-2. It just seems that way. We were over in Arizona. The Dodgers were playing the D-backs. It was early April of 2008. And he signed a 6-year deal for about $28 million. And it seems like he hit the skids ever since he signed that contract. 0-2. Ball 1. Some would say, well, he was pressing. But gosh, you got $28 million in the bank. What are you pressing about? He has always struggled here. And unfortunately for Chris, he's been struggling in a lot of places. He wound up hitting .212 last year. So you have LaRoche at second with 2 out. 1-0 Dodgers, 4th inning. Kershaw, 6 strikeouts, has allowed 2 hits. And a broken bat, base hit. So here comes LaRoche to score. And Young shatters the bat and gets an RBI. And the game is tied 1-1. So for Chris Young, a glimmer now that maybe this is going to be a better year. He has 3 home runs. And despite breaking his bat, he is strong enough to get a base hit. And he now has 12 runs batted in. So Young, a single to center right by Furcal. And the D-backs tie it up 1-1. And now here's Kelly Johnson as LaRoche brings it in. Breaking ball for a strike. Kelly taking a look at Bo Porter down at third. We told you he had Tommy John surgery. A first-round pick by the Braves 10 years ago. Kelly Johnson was in a slump one year with the Braves. He was 1 for 30. And Bobby Cox said it was the best 1 for 30 I've ever seen. I guess he hit the ball awfully hard and just kept hitting him the old atom ball at people. He signed a 1-year deal with Arizona. One and two. Last year, Kelly really gave left-handers a bad time. He had .325 and 4 home runs against left-hand pitching. But right-handers got him out. The other way, the so-called book didn't work with Kelly Johnson. 1 and 2. Kelly's been moved around a lot. He was a shortstop, Then the Braves moved him to the outfield. And then 2 years ago, they moved him to second base, and he has found a home there. 1-2. Just missed. 2-2. So we have a 1-1 tie. We're in the fourth inning. Kershaw has allowed 3 hits, 1 run, struck out 6, walked 1, had a wild pitch. Standing at first with the RBI is Chris Young, and he runs very well. 2-2. Fouled away. Young stole as many as 32 bases in the minor leagues. Stole 27 with the D-backs 2 years ago. Stole 11 last year because, among other things, he had trouble getting to first base. Little ground ball to the hole on the grass. Sliding block by DeWitt to Loney just in time. So Kershaw is saved by Blake DeWitt. And at the end of 3 1/2, a 1-1 tie. One tie. Lovely afternoon here in Los Angeles. We were worried a bit about what kind of weather we'd have today following some wind and rain recently, but it's been a beauty. Manny Ramirez followed by James Loney and then Casey Blake. Manny flied to right field in the second inning, and we mentioned earlier how well he has done against Arizona pitching. And a strike. 0-1. Manny's had a good spring, not a spectacular spring without a home run, but a solid .316. One and one. Manny will celebrate a birthday the end of May. He'll be 38. And a strike. From his body language, I would think Manny was not happy with the call. I don't think we've seen him argue since he's been with the Dodgers. 1-2 the count. Foul back. Remember, Manny back in 2008 had hit 20 home runs for the Red Sox, then came to the Dodgers and hit 17 more. There are only 5 players to have hit at least 15 home runs for 2 clubs in one season: Fred McGriff and David Justice, Mark McGwire, Carlos Beltran, and Manny. Fouled away. Manny usually jumps on a home run pitch pretty early. When Manny joined the Dodgers, he hit his first home run in his second game. When he came up with the Indians, he hit a home run in his second game. And when he went to the Red Sox, he hit a home run in his fourth game. And of course, it takes your breath away to realize back in 1999, Manny knocked in 165 runs. That is a gang of runs. The all-time record, Hack Wilson of the Cubs drove in 190. Two balls and two strikes to Manny Ramirez. We're in the bottom of the fourth inning in a 1-1 tie. Fouled away. So the pride of Huntington Beach, Ian Kennedy, doing a good job. Got into a little trouble in the second inning when he made 29 pitches. It started off with Loney hitting a double inside the left field foul line, hit batter, wild pitch, and a scoring fly ball, and the Dodgers got a run. But the D-backs tied it up in the top of the fourth. So Ian locked in 2-2 with Manny Ramirez. And a high drive into deep left center. Gone. And the Dodgers take a 2-1 lead. Manny Ramirez hits it out to break a 1-1 tie, and do they love it here. Gets vibes in the dugout. I think they want him to take a curtain call. I don't know whether he'll do it this early in the year, but nope. All right, 2-1 Dodgers, bottom of the fourth, and James Loney checking in. And now he does take a brief one and scurry back into the shadows. That was a 9-pitch at bat, by the way. And during the course of the 9 pitches, he fouled off 4. Here's his buddy Rafael for a call. So the Dodgers break the tie. And a strike to Loney, who went the other way with Kennedy when he doubled and eventually scored in the second inning. Kennedy basically is a low ball pitcher who does not give up a lot of home runs. But at least the guy who hit one has hit a lot. What would that be? 547 home runs for Manny? Something like that. Yeah, 547. Checking with the boys. There's the list. One behind Schmitty, then Reggie and Jim Thome. Right. 1-2 to Loney. Dodgers 2 runs, 2 hits. Diamondbacks 1 run, 3 hits. Dodgers came home off a very disappointing road trip. Saw them hit about 180 with runners in scoring position. Team played fast and loose with the baseball and committed 8 errors in the 6th game. The bullpen did not do a satisfying job, but that's all forgotten now that they're home. 2-1 Dodgers on a 435-foot home run by Manny Ramirez. 3-2 to James. For Arizona, if Chris Young does the good job that he has done so far, if he forgets all about the bad times that he has, that will help them a great deal. and that's going to go foul. However, the sword of Damocles hanging over the heads of the Arizona Diamondbacks, Brandon Webb. Brandon Webb, the ace of the franchise last year, hurt his arm opening day. I don't know when he will pitch again. He had shoulder surgery, but if he doesn't come back, it doesn't figure they can go anywhere. The D-backs finished 25 games behind the Dodgers last year. That's going to go down the right field line. So Loney hit one inside the chalk both ways, and he'll settle for the double. Double to left, double to right. So Loney comes up after the roar. Take another look. Manny got a ball in, and boy, did he get his hips out of the way. Watch those hips turn. And that's what you do on a ball on the inside part of the plate. And with that power of his, he hit it .435. That's what you do. I always remember talking to the great Ted Williams. And tongue-in-cheek, he was saying to me, what was your problem? And I said, oh, you got an hour? But I said, I was always getting jammed. Ted said, let me see you swing a bat. Just make believe you're swinging. And so I swung, and he said, no. No wonder you got jammed. I was a left-handed swinger, not a left-handed hitter. He said, on that inside pitch, your first movement is not with your hand. Your first movement is with your hips. And, of course, you just saw Manny turn those hips and grind it out. So Loney, double trouble now. And here's Casey Blake. Strike. Casey taking a look at Larry Boa. Yeah, third base has been a very busy spot the last 5 years before Casey acquired the rights. And he lifts one into left center and deep. Back goes Young to the wall. Leaps in the air. That's gone. And the Dodgers lead 4-1. So the Dodgers have only 4 hits, but the 4 hits are 2 doubles and 2 home runs. And they take a 4-1 lead. So for Ian Kennedy, the boy from Huntington Beach, it might all go back to that second inning when Ian made 29 pitches. That might have taken a lot out of him. Big slow breaking ball to Blake DeWitt for ball 1. 4 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 3 hits for Arizona. Casey Blake's first home run of the year. So Casey has the touch, drives it out. It's a 3-run inning and a 4-1 Dodger lead. Almost hit him. Remember, Casey Blake was hit by a pitch in the second inning. So Kennedy is struggling. Chad Billingsley tomorrow night against Rodrigo Lopez. And then Thursday night, Hiroki Kuroda and Dan Herron. So Manny lit the torch, and the Dodgers have scored 3. And ball 3. Not a ball has been thrown yet in the Arizona bullpen. Kennedy is due to bat second when the D-backs hit in the 5th. Fouled away. Take a look at Casey Blake's home run. Now he got a ball away and down, and he just stayed on it. Chris Young to the wall, but not a chance. 3-2. And there's ball 4. Another thing for Ian Kennedy, as Mel Stottlemyre Jr. huddles with A.J. Hinch. Kennedy began throwing a lot of fastballs down, and we were talking about the fact basically he is a low ball pitcher, but of late the pitches have come up, and there's Mel Jr. on the phone to check on, get somebody up in the pen. Russell Martin came up with a bases loaded 1 out in the 2nd inning and had a scoring fly ball to center. Esmerling Vasquez begins to throw now down in the Arizona pen. Again, remember, Kennedy is due to bat 2nd, if indeed he does, when the D-backs come up in the 5th inning. So for a young fella from these parts in Huntington Beach, La Quinta High School, you can imagine he arrived here on the wheels of a dream. In the dirt, nice save by big Chris Snyder. 1-1. But under the heading of the best laid plans of mice and men, you might be writing the name Ian Kennedy for today. 1-1. Arizona made a deal, and you can bet it will be contested, when they traded away Max Scherzer. They had talked about what a fine young pitcher is. They traded him for Edwin Jackson, and of course you may remember Edwin pitched with the Dodgers. In the dirt, down to second. The throw is going to be there ahead of him. So Blake DeWitt tried to move up and is nailed by Chris Snyder. Pitch in the dirt off Chris's glove, but then a good strong throw and the tag. Remember when Edwin was with the Dodgers that great night against Randy Johnson in Arizona, and his dad sitting behind the dugout on his cell phone talking to everybody in the little town from where he came? That was a memorable night for Jackson and for everybody involved. And then he moved around, and now he's come back, not pitching in Dodger Stadium and not pitching in this series. Ball 3. Dodgers lead 4-1. Bottom of the 4th inning. Chopper to shortstop. Stephen Drew gets rid of it in a hurry. 2 down. And Clayton Kershaw feeling a lot better about things coming up.
Clayton Kershaw.
When the D-backs come up in the 5th inning, they'll have Chris Snyder. Then we'll see about Kennedy with Vasquez throwing in the pen, and then Connor Jackson. Remember, the D-backs scored 13 runs in the 4th inning against Pittsburgh Sunday. I agree, it's Pittsburgh, but nevertheless, they do have the power to generate some runs in a hurry. 0-1 to Clayton. Kennedy is laboring now. He had made 29 pitches in the 2nd inning. He has made 32 pitches in this inning, and he's not through. So he's made about 84 pitches already. 1-2. Ian with 2 strikeouts. In his previous start, he went 5 innings and allowed 3 runs and struck out a very impressive 8. But he's not throwing that way today. Little ground ball, Johnson in the hole, and that'll do it. However, the Dodgers get some power. A leadoff home run by Manny Ramirez that goes 435 feet into the left center field bleacher. And Manny turning on that one, and if that wasn't enough, Casey Blake hit one out, and the Dodgers lead 4-1. Ticket is brought to you by CarMax. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. By AT&T, TV, high-speed internet, home phone, and wireless. Visit AT&T.com or call 1-800-PIC-ATT for details. And by Toyota. Get a great deal on Toyota's full line of hybrid and fuel-efficient vehicles at your Toyota dealers today. As we go to the 5th inning with the Dodgers leading 4-1, home runs by Manny Ramirez and Casey Blake with Loney aboard. Dodgers with 4 hits, 2 doubles, and 2 home runs. Now in the 5th inning, Kershaw will face Snyder, the catcher, and Ian Kennedy, despite having made 85 pitches, is on deck. When the Dodgers played their 6 games on the road, 3 in Pittsburgh and 3 in Florida, they muscled up on the entire road trip with 3 home runs. And here today, in 1 inning, they have 2 home runs. So the bats have certainly come alive. Arizona followed by the red-hot Giants. Boy, the Giant pitching has been great. Giants don't figure to score a lot of runs, but they won't need too many. The one area where the Giants could be vulnerable, they could be short defensively. You never hear people talk about that, but that could be a problem. So, all right, Snyder gets the walk. Remember when Kennedy batted in the 3rd inning? He had some good swings. He pulled a good Kershaw fastball foul and then hit sharply to shortstop. Although we've never seen him play before, that gets your attention. Now let's see if they have him swinging, bunting. Blake coming in, and that's ball 1. So Casey was charging the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. A.J. Hinch passing along to Bo Porter. Over at first, you probably haven't seen him in uniform for a while, but when he wore the uniform, he was center stage with a spotlight on him. And that's ball 2. And we're talking about the first base coach of the Arizona Diamondbacks, Matt Williams. Remember when Matt broke in with the Giants? A remarkable player with great abilities. And his biggest problem, as we told you, 378 home runs. He had that bad foot, plantar fasciitis, or however you pronounce it. Boy, he was a good player. Matt Williams. Meanwhile, a little study on the mound. Rick Honeycutt out to talk to Kershaw. They've really been watching Honeycutt lately as far as what happens immediately after he talks to the pitcher. I've never seen them put that kind of a load on the back of a pitching coach. 2-0 the count. Rick can handle it. And ball 3. Kershaw coming off his toughest inning in the 4th when he made 23 pitches. He's had 10. Oh, we'll wait and see before we conclude the thought. But he has walked Snyder. And here he is 3-0 to Kennedy, and he walks Kennedy. So back-to-back walks with nobody out.
Infielder number 34, Connor Jackson.
You see, not only did Clayton walk a lot, but he has come up with the slider hoping to reduce his number of pitches. He had 48 pitches in the first 3 innings. He has now made 79 pitches, and we told you Kennedy had made 85. So 2 young pitchers, and it's so early in the season, the pitch count is really important. 4-1 Dodgers, top of the 5th, and here's Connor Jackson. Strike. Connor single to right and walk. As we told you, he's one of those fellas when he is 100% healthy, walks almost as much as he would strike out. 1-1. Big crowd on hand on a beautiful day. In 2007, Connor Jackson walked 53 times and struck out 50. He holds up on a low fastball. 2-1. In 08, Connor walked 59 times and struck out 61. So you get the idea. He's got a very good eye for the strike zone, and he's patient. He's got Snyder at second and the pitcher Kennedy at first. Nobody out. Ground ball to the hole. Backhanded by Furcal. They get one. Oh, what a play by Raphael. So Connor Jackson is robbed of a hit and a run batted in on a fine stop and throw by Raphael to backhand it, sprawl on his back, and throw accurately to Blake DeWitt. Big play. Just when Kershaw needed a friend, he got one at shortstop. First and third, 1 out. Stephen Drew at the plate. And a breaking ball for a strike. Oh, 1. And a strike. 0-2. Stephen Drew was originally drafted by Pittsburgh, but he wanted to follow his brother J.D. and go to Florida State, and that's what he did. Drew last year hit .261. That was kind of an off year. The year before he hit .291. First year with the D-backs he hit .316. 1-2. Almost got him. Or did it? Yep, it got him. I think it just hit the shirt, but either way, he goes to first. The bases are loaded for Justin Upton. And now a real moment of truth. Pitch is in there, just ticked the sleeve and the front of the shirt. So the bases are loaded with one out, and the number 3 hitter, which usually means the team's number 1 hitter, Justin Upton. And ball 1. Coming out of high school, Baseball America rated Upton as the best athlete, the best 5-tool talent, the best pure hitter, the fastest base runner, the best defensive player, and closest to the majors. And he made his debut at 19. And now a 1-ball, 1-strike count. And Kershaw is definitely laboring. No one throwing in the Dodger pen yet, which is the operative word. Snyder at third, Jackson at second, Drew at first. 4-1 Dodgers, 5th inning. Little ground ball to third. They go to the plate and get one. So Upton hits into a force play. That goes 5-2. Everybody else moves up 90. But what is happening to A.J. Hinch in microcosm is what plagued him all last year. They had the worst batting average with runners in scoring position, which is one reason why they finished last, 25 games back of the Dodgers. And that's happened to him today. They left Jackson at second base when 3 hitters made out. And here they have a golden opportunity. And now the batter is Adam LaRoche. Adam struck out and doubled. LaRoche has 3 grand slams, including one 2 years ago against Chad Billingsley. He also had one 5 years ago against Jeff Weaver. So 2 of the Dodgers in the dugout have served up the so-called salami. 1-1. And a high fly ball playable. There's a Gold Glove at the other end of it. So for Arizona, they let one get away, and they come up empty. And at the end of 4.5, 4-1 Dodgers. The Hyundai keys to the game would be the Dodger muscle in the fourth inning, provided by Manny Ramirez, hitting one 435 feet into the left center field pavilion, and then with a man aboard, Casey Blake follows suit, and the Dodgers picked up 3 in the inning, broke the tie, and lead 4-1. There was also a wonderful defensive play in the top of the 5th inning. And Rafael Furcal will lead it off. But Kershaw struggling a bit, but he's hanging in there. He's made 93 pitches. And Arizona reverting to type 1-for-8 with runners in scoring position. Off speed, a one-hopper picked there nicely by Drew. One away.
Dodger center fielder, number 26.
Matt Kemp has grounded to second and struck out 0 for 2. Andre Ethier on deck. The top of the Dodger order collectively 0 for 7. Furcal 0 for 3, Kemp 0 for 2, Ethier 0 for 2. 1 ball and no strikes. Don't forget tomorrow night Chad Billingsley and Rodrigo Lopez. And then the concluding game of the series, Hiroki Kuroda and Dan Haren. Dan Haren, who pitched at Pepperdine, and certainly with Webb sideline, he's the ace of the Arizona staff. He can flat out pitch. Well, that should be quite a battle against Hiroki Kuroda, who was brilliant on the road. And Dan's also a good hitter. 2-1. Oh, there goes Kemp chasing that bad ball. Now he improved dramatically last year. One of the big reasons he hit 297, 26 home runs, 101 ribbies. He would not chase that breaking ball way off the plate. He did it in the 3rd inning when he struck out when he should have walked. But it's game number 7. You really put things in perspective when you say 155 to go. That used to be one more than the regular season, which was 154. And Matt unloads to deep right center, and this one is gone. And the Dodgers now have hit 3 home runs and lead 5-1. Matt's 2nd home run of the year and his 8th run batted in. So the Dodgers have 5 hits, but what a high 5. 2 doubles and 3 home runs. For Ian Kennedy, remember Manny Ramirez had a 9-pitch at bat, fouled off 4, and then hit a home run. For Kennedy, it was a 3-ball count, and he has been struggling. You won't see it in the box score. If you look in the box score, he's walked 2, but he's had 10 3-ball counts. And look at that pitch away. And Matt is so strong, he can drive it into the bleachers in right center field. And that's going to be flared into left field. A base hit for Andre Ethier. So Ethier goes 1 for 3 with a single left. A.J. Hinch has walked away from the railing as the Dodgers finally get a single. So 5-1 Dodgers, and here's Manning. Slide to right and then homered to left center. And remember, a 9-pitch at bat. Jordan Norberto is now throwing. He's a left-hander in the Arizona bullpen. Norberto. In Kennedy's previous start, he struck out 8. He allowed 1 home run. So he's now allowed 4 home runs in his first 2 starts this year. Manny flied to right and then hit that 435-foot home run. A little over anxious to chase that pitch. 0-1. Dodgers scored 1 in the second inning on a double, a walk, a hit batter, and a scoring fly ball. Then they had the home run by Ramirez, a double by Loney, a home run by Casey Blake. Now the home run by Kemp. And they lead 5-1. 1 single amongst the 6 hits. The flare to left field from Andre. One and 1. Light breeze blowing out to right field. 2-1 to count to Manny. Coming into the game, Arizona had 12 home runs and the Dodgers 3. Now the Dodgers have picked up 3 today. And ball 3. He had 85 pitches in 4 innings and laboring again in the 5th. He's also had 11 3-ball counts. And ball 4. So Ian Kennedy is barely hanging on. He is hanging on only because of the patience of A.J. Hinch, with Kirk Gibson standing behind him. And now here comes the skipper. And since Loney is coming up and he has a left-hander in the pen, I think you can figure that one out. Norberto is getting ready. And for Ian Kennedy, it has to be a very disappointing day. Young fella from Huntington Beach, a chance to pitch at Dodger Stadium. And like so many of life's dreams, it goes up in smoke and it disappears at the end of a 3rd home run. It's 5-1 Dodgers. Kemp has homered. Andre Ethier has a base hit. And before the game, each man was honored. First of all, Steve Finley presented Matt Kemp with the Gold Glove for his play in center field. And then Eric Karros handed both Matt Kemp and Andre Ethier Silver Slugger bats. So with the Dodgers leading 5-1, they've honored before and they continue to play well. And now Jordan Norberto will be pitching to James Loney. When you look at the ballgame, and it is certainly not any kind of a second guess against A.J. Hinch. After all, he knows his personnel. And he brings in a boy from the Dominican Republic. Norberto is 23. He'll be 24 in December. Signed as a free agent. But when you look at the ballgame, Kennedy had made 34 pitches in the fourth inning, had given up 2 home runs and a double. That's a pop fly, a late start, so Johnson goes out and spears it. You don't want to say a lucky catch, but he was fortunate he was able to glove that thing. Late start by Upton, and Kelly had to go out there running one way, and then all of a sudden he'll lunge. That's pretty much of a lucky catch, except he is a big leaguer. And the batter now, Casey Blake. So Kelly saved the moment. The Dodgers have 2 on with 2 out. Casey Blake, hit by a pitch in the second inning, hit a 2-run home run in the fourth. There's a beach ball loose in right field, so timeout for the moment. Take another look at Kelly Johnson. I mean, wouldn't you say that's kind of lucky? If you were in the Sandlot, you would holler lucky. But he is a big leaguer. Makes that play all the time. Maybe. All right, 2 out, 2 on. Dodgers lead 5-1. Ball 1. Basically, the book on Norberto, fastball and a curve. Trying to make a big jump to the big leagues. He was at Mobile last year. And a strike. Interesting how he holds that ball, both arms extended out from his body. Ethier at second on that bum ankle, although he's playing on it, so I assume it's okay. And Ramirez at first. Nice save by Snyder. Ball 2. 2-1. Home runs today from Casey Blake, Manny Ramirez, and Matt Kemp. Two and 1 to Casey Blake. Ball 3. So in talking about Arizona at the start of the game, we were saying that their rotation is very thin. They really need Brandon Webb, but then again, every team would need Brandon Webb. Their bullpen is suspect. They do have power. 3-1. And ball 4. You know, when you think about it, since 2007, the Diamondbacks have had a great bullpen, an excellent rotation, and a monster offense, but they haven't managed to have them all in the same season. Last year they had a serious drop off in the bullpen. Plenty of power. And then last year, the loss of Brandon Webb, that really scrambled their eggs. And here is Blake DeWitt. Dodgers with the bases loaded, 2 out, 1 in, and leading 5-1. Talking about how much did Arizona miss Brandon Webb? I mean, you are talking about a franchise player. And you say, well, how did they do with their replacements? The composite earned run average of the starters used to replace Brandon Webb last year, that earned run average was 6.26. End of story. Whether he'll ever pitch again, I sure hope so. Big guy with that great, as he used to call it, my sanker, his sinker. 2-1 to count. Blake DeWitt walked in the second, walked in the fourth. Ethier, Ramirez, and Blake out on the bases. Dodgers trying to break it open here. We're in the bottom of the fifth. Well, from the looks of things, what, another wild young left-hander? You heard those words strung together. And ball 4. So DeWitt goes to first and picks up a run batted in. Casey Blake advances to second. Manny Ramirez to third. Andre Ethier walks in. That run is charged to Kennedy. And the Dodgers now lead 6-1. And the batter is Russell Martin with the bases loaded, as Merling Vasquez is up for a second time in the Arizona bullpen. Oh, and 1. Martin with 2 grand slams in his career. Came up with the bases loaded in the second inning, had a long fly ball to center to drive in a run. Mitch Reinhardt digs it out that Martin's 2 slams, he had one against Pittsburgh in April of 07. That was against Sean Chacon and the Pirates. The other one he hit against the Cubs in 09 against Angel Guzman. So now he's trying to add Jordan Norberto to the list. 0-1. And fouled away. 0-2 the count. Dodgers won 11 of 18 from Arizona last year, winning 6 out of 9 here and 5 out of 9 over there. Oh, 0-2. Fouled away. Oh, Martin up there hacking. And it's still 0-2. Bases loaded, 2 out, 2 in, 6-1 Dodgers. Being a catcher takes a lot out of the man, and it's certainly reflected as a hitter. And for Russell Martin in 2008, there was a 100-point difference between his slugging percentage before the All-Star break and after the All-Star break. Before the break, he had an extra base hit every 12 at-bats. After it, an extra base hit every 20 at-bats. He was the only National League catcher to play more than 140 games at the position each of the last 2 years. Martin in 08 was in 155 games. Last year, 143. So they have to watch him. He's 5'11", and did put on some muscle and added poundage, trying to be stronger. You always saw him. That's a breaking ball for strike 3 called. Martin's not going to argue, but he makes a comment. Though the Dodgers add 2 and lead 6-1. The newspapers in New York said, Walter who? Well, Walter who turned out to be Walter Alston. He was signed to be the Dodger manager. And on this day in 1954, Walter made his debut against the Giants. Wouldn't you know, he lost 4-3 because of a home run in the 6th inning by Willie Mays. But undeterred, Walter continued to pilot the Dodgers, and Walter Alston wound up, rightly so, in the Hall of Fame. His debut marked on this day in 1954. Let's go back to this one. Dodgers trying to hold on to a 6-1 lead. And the D-backs trying to get back into the game. Mark Reynolds, Chris Young, and then Kelly Johnson. The D-backs left Connor Jackson at second with nobody out in the 1st inning. They had the bases loaded in the 5th inning and came up empty. And we repeated that number we gave you at the beginning. They had the worst batting average in the National League with runners in scoring position last year. Now Kershaw has certainly been laboring. The last 2 innings he's made 45 pitches. He made 93 pitches in 5 innings. And now he opens up leading 6-1 with a walk. So the Dodgers can't be too happy about that. And Rick Honeycutt at the base of the steps talking to Joe Torre, and now coming up the steps and going out there. And now there's no one throwing in the Dodger bullpen. But for Clayton Kershaw, Jeff Weaver will begin to throw back of him. Kershaw had a half a dozen strikeouts by the fourth inning. He has not had one since. He has had 3 walks and a hit batter in the last 1 inning. So he has to listen to Honeycutt. We have a minute to talk about the D-backs. Not only are they 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, but it's been the guys they pay the money, the big guys, who have failed. Justin Upton is 0 for 2. Adam LaRoche 0 for 2. Mark Reynolds 0 for 1. Stephen Drew 0 for 1. Connor Jackson 0 for 1. The only one to have a base hit with a runner in scoring position is the fella at the plate right now, Chris Young. Young singled to drive in LaRoche in the 4th inning. Remember, he broke his bat. But Kershaw is laboring, but leading 6-1 in the 6th. Big curveball for a strike. We mentioned if the D-backs are going to recover at all, they need a definite comeback year from Chris Young, and so far he's provided that. 3 home runs, 11 runs batted in. Ball 1. Now Kershaw has made exactly 100 pitches. And little foul behind the plate and out of play. If ever a ball club expected great things, it would be the Diamondbacks expecting great things from Chris Young. And of course, we told you about that 6-year deal he signed. Ball 1. So they keep waiting for him to live up to what they expect. Young will be 27 in September. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Boy, that wasn't much of a pitch. That was a throw. Big difference. After making that throw and not the pitch, taking him a little while to pull himself together. But he does have a 5-run cushion. And look at that. So that one bad delivery followed by another.
Second baseman number 2, Kelly Johnson.
Takes a lot of patience to play the game, and it takes a lot of patience to manage and coach. Patience is the key. Five walks and a hit batter for Kershaw. Whoops. He's made 3 bad deliveries on the last 3. Not just bad pitches. One and 0. Fastball, and that's high, but that was a much better delivery. In watching Kershaw closely, he's gotten 15 swinging strikes from the hitters, but none from the last 8. And he missed again. I tell you, if he did not have a 5-run lead, they'd have to go out and get him. But remember, Honeycutt's already been out there once. But he's made 1 reasonably good delivery in the last 4. Breeze blowing to right. That's a strike, but not a swinging strike. Yeah, you're right. You take any kind of a strike you can get. So 3-1, one more, he could load him up. And another strike. On deck, Chris Snyder. Remember, he walked back-to-back Snyder and Kennedy opening up the 5th inning. And strikes him out. And there's that first swinging strike in quite a while. And it comes for Kershaw at just the right time. His 7th strikeout. Here's an unlike Kershaw delivery. First of all, on one leg, kind of staggering and looking sideways. Then that one where you see, you don't have to know anything about the game to see that follow through. Then look at that one. Is it fatigue? Well, it could be. And they've decided that's enough. So Clayton goes 5 1/3, goes out where he can only win, and we'll be back. On Clayton Kershaw, all you have to do is go back to the 5th inning with the bases loaded and just enough, a ground ball to Casey Blake for a force play at the plate, and then Adam LaRoche, a fly ball to Matt Kemp, and Kershaw was out of the jam. And I really think, and it happens so often, you will see a pitcher get out of a bases loaded jam, and you think, oh, that's great, he's out of the woods. And it has an effect on him on the next inning, especially this early in the year. And sure enough, he looked wobbly, walked back-to-back hitters, went 3-1 on Kelly Johnson, struck him out, and then they lifted him. So here's Jeff Weaver pitching to Chris Snyder, 0-1. If you broke down Kershaw's pitches, 110 pitches, 59 strikes, 51 balls. So he was really fighting it out there. But Arizona in the clutch, 1 for 9 against him with runners in scoring position. 0-1 the count to Snyder. That's side on by way of third delivery. Tony Abreu, former Dodgers, out on deck to pinch hit. That's what Campanella used to talk about. That delivery would give you the jelly leg. Your left leg suddenly turns to jelly when that pitcher sidearms you. And you know, last year Weaver averaged almost 8 strikeouts per 9 innings as a reliever. That's foul back. Jeff only averaged about 4.5 innings a start, but he was pretty handy to have around. Jeff will be 34 in August. Oh, and 2. After going away with that sidearm delivery, he came back inside, had them all set up, and just missed. Two on, Reynolds and Young, one out, 6-1 Dodgers in the 6th inning. Time. Snyder has struck out and walked. He was forced at the plate. Remember, as a catcher, he has not committed an error in 200 games. Go way back to 2007. A little down and dirty. Ramon Ortiz now gets up in the Dodger bullpen because Weaver is due up first in the bottom of the 6th. Two and two. And that's probably a one-hopper into center for a base hit. Here comes Reynolds to score. That makes it Dodgers 6, D-backs 2. The run is charged to Kershaw as Snyder delivers. So Chris, in a starting role for the injured Miguel Montero, comes up with an RBI.
Tony Abreu.
So Tony Abreu will be coming up. Abreu in the Dodger organization showed he had a lot of talent, but he was forever being injured. And so the Dodgers eventually dealt him away, and now here he is. He's only 25. He'd be 26 in November. 5'11", 200-pounder. He was in 6 games with the Dodgers last year. Then he went to Chattanooga and Albuquerque. But he's a good young player. And a strike. Signed by the Dodgers 8 years ago. Had an outstanding spring training in 2007 for the Dodgers. Remember the John Garland deal when the Dodgers got the right-hand pitcher from Arizona? Well, Abreu was in that deal and went to Arizona. He usually hits more home runs from the right side of the plate, but he also uses more of the field when he's hitting left-handed. His first name is not Tony. Off the plate. E-T-A-N-S-L-A-O. Tony. And he hits a fly ball to right. Ethier is there, and the runners have to hold. So Abreu bats for Norberto and flies to right. And the batter will be Connor Jackson. Connor Jackson singled to right, walked, and hit into a force play. The force play was a great play by Rafael Furcal. Otherwise, the D-backs would have broken through in the 5th inning. And a strike. Here's the play by Rafael, the outstanding defensive play of the day, and an accurate throw while on his back to Blake DeWitt. That really helped Kershaw in the 5th, and then really nothing could help him in the 6th. 1 ball and 1 strike. Clayton went 5 1/3. Made 110 pitches. Goes out where he can only win or have nothing to do with it. 1 ball and 1 strike. ball two. 2-1. Foul back. 2-2. Six runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. They have 1 single. They have 3 home runs and 2 doubles. Loney is the 2 doubles. Kemp, Ramirez, and Blake have the home run. So the deuce is very wild here. Just off the plate with that fastball. 3-2. Jeff, a brand new daddy this winter. Brother Jared, a mainstay of the Angels staff. Remember they faced each other? That was a dramatic game down in Orange County. 3-2 with 2 out. The runners go. And it's a little pop fly. Loney is calling, but here comes Blake Dewitt. So again, the D-backs fail with runners in scoring position, and Kershaw will head for the dugout and dressing room leading 6-2. Our freeze cam showing you glimpses of opening day. The bases were quite untouched. A lot of player introductions. Then the national anthem. The huge American flag spread out. The F-18s in a flyover. Yep, opening day, opening week. And a full house here to cheer the Dodgers on to a 6-2 lead. And now Jamie Carroll will come off the Dodger bench, and he will bat for Jeff Weaver. One of the things you might not know about Jamie Carroll until you really get into his background as he faces Esmeralda Vasquez, the fact that Jamie Carroll has a career batting average as a pinch hitter of .348. Jamie, a veteran, 36 years old. His 2-year stint in Cleveland produced a pair of seasons that were eerily similar. He had a .277 batting average, and the next year .276. No power. He's had over 2,500 plate appearances and 12 home runs. But the Dodgers feel that he is a terrific investment to have. He can play second and short especially, and he's very valuable coming off the bench. Esmerling Vasquez from the Dominican. And he's behind now 3-1. Vasquez came up last year and was in over 50 games. Three and two. Vasquez 6'1" and maybe 170. Basically fastball, curveball, and a changeup. They've had him throwing from a slightly higher arm angle beginning last year. And he walks Carroll. You know, a reminder, Sunday with the Giants here, and the first 50,000 fans in attendance take home an L.A. My Town hat presented by Farmer John. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS today. So Jamie Carroll opens up the sixth inning with a walk. Dodgers have received 5 walks, now 6, and a hit batter. And here's for call. Fly deep to right, fly to center, grounded to short. Dodgers lead 6-2. A drag bunt by Rafael, but a foul ball. 0-1. Remember last year, Rafael had been plagued by injuries, and he was struggling before the All-Star break. And then suddenly, from September 1 on, it was the old Rafael. He stole 6 bases, 7 attempts. MVP kind of a player in 08 after a very poor 07, and the Dodgers look for him to come bouncing back. That's a strike. 0-2. Last year, Vasquez really tied up left-handed batters. They hit just 196 against him. Right-handers hit over 300 against him. 0-2. And a little foul off third. Untouched. Snyder trying to make a sliding catch, but it was well back into the Dodger dugout. You're not going to hear a sound if you're the other team's player. Running over towards the Dodger dugout is like a library in there. Now, if it was Russell Martin or Casey Blake, be another story. I always remember years and years ago, Marty Keough playing right field here, went back after a ball and crashed into the bullpen gate and caught the ball. There's a ground ball, base hit into right, and the Dodgers have first and second and nobody out. And anyway, we asked Marty, did his teammates help him in the bullpen catching the fly ball? He said, yeah, the last thing I heard as I hit the fence was lots of room. Well, there was plenty of room for Matt Kemp, and that was back in the 5th inning when he got a ball out over the plate where he could fully extend his arms and drive it the other way into right center field for his second home run of the year. So Matt is grounded out, struck out, and homered. So the Dodgers immediately going after Vasquez with a walk and a base hit. Dodgers were retire in order in the 1st inning and in the 3rd. They lead 6-2, 7 hits, 5 of the 7 extra base hits, 3 home runs, 2 doubles. Home runs by Kemp, Ramirez, and Blake. 2 doubles by James Loney. Matt with 2 home runs, 8 runs batted in. So remember, he got left-handers out last year, and right-handers pummeled him. Now he's in trouble and facing the right-handed Kemp. 2-0. That's a strike. 2 years ago, Vasquez hurt his shoulder diving to catch a popped up bunt with runners at first and second. He made the catch, but he landed on the shoulder and suffered a tear of the labrum. Had 6 weeks of rest on the DL and has finally come back. Big chopper to third. Nice play for 1, and they will not turn it as Kemp beats the throw to first. So Kemp hits into a force play, and the batter will be Andre Ethier. Okay, today's trivia question. Andre Ethier hit 22 home runs at home last year. That's 1 short of the Dodger record. Which 2 players share the record for home runs hit at home for the Dodgers? Well, we'll see if you have the right number. First and third, and Andre trying to pick Carroll up from third. Dodgers trying to add to a 6-2 lead. And that's in there. 1-1. Esmerling Vasquez facing Andre Ethier. Andre hitting 31 home runs last year, made him the first Dodger to hit 30 and 100 ribbies in 5 years. 0-1. Now back 0-2. Interesting, last year, you may or may not remember, in the 5th and final game of the LCS against Philadelphia, Andre Ethier in the first inning hit a home run off Cole Hamels. There was something he had not done in over a year. Get an extra base hit off a left-hander on the road. And as you know, it wasn't enough. Remember the 4 walk-off home runs? 6 walk-offs overall. 0-2. 1 out, 6-2 Dodgers, and a drive into right center field. Looking is up there, and this one is gone. And that really tears it. The Dodgers now lead 9-2, and they've hit 4 home runs. Drive home run. Upton was racing parallel, thinking he might have a play off the wall, but that's Andre's wheelhouse, down around the knees and out over the plate. See Upton hoping, thinking, gone. So Andre Ethier joins the club as the Dodgers explode for 4 home runs and lead 9-2. And here's the guy who started it all off. Manny Ramirez homered in the 4th. Then Casey Blake homered in the 4th. Then Matt Kemp homered in the 5th. Then Andre Ethier homered in the 6th. One and one. Tomorrow night, Chad Billingsley and Rodrigo Lopez. Thursday night, Hiroki Kuroda and Dan Herron. And then the Giants. That's a strike. One ball and 2 strikes to Manny. 547 in his career. Dodgers hit 3 home runs on a 6-game road trip, and they come home and hit 4 home runs in 6 innings today. And that's sliced to right. Nice play by Upton. So Ramirez lines out to right, and the batter will be James Loney. So Manny today, with a home run and a walk, goes 1 for 3. James Loney doubled to left just inside the line against Ian Kennedy in the 2nd inning and scored on a fly ball by Martin. He doubled to right field in the 4th inning and rode home on the home run by Casey Blake, and then last time up popped up. So James 2 for 3. 9 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers. 2 runs, 4 hits for Arizona. Off speed for a strike. 0-1. Diamondbacks will have Stephen Drew, Justin Upton, and Adam LaRoche when they hit in the 7th inning. 1-1. Casey Blake on deck. Two and one. Dodgers scored 1 in the 2nd. The D-backs tied it in the 4th, and the Dodgers have broken it wide open. 3 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, and 3 here in the 6th. 2-2. Loney was a first-round pick in 2002. He had hits last year, 162 of them, that ranked him 7th among first basemen. Dodgers are hoping to get a little more power from him. High bouncer up the middle, Kelly Johnson. And that's the inning, but not before the Dodgers add 3. Ethier hitting a home run with 2 aboard. And as Andre sits down and reflects, the Dodgers lead 9-2. Faces in the crowd on this opening day. Tom Hanks enjoying company, along with the lovely Rihanna, watching no doubt among others Matt Kemp, and Albert Brooks is also here. Faces in the crowd on opening day. With the Dodgers leading 9-2, a lot of good folks decided it's almost 4 o'clock, time to leave, but the majority are still here, I should say. Dodgers make 2 changes. Jamie Carroll will take over at second base for Blake DeWitt, and Ramon Ortiz is now on the mound. So Ramon, who pitched so well for the Angels and had a very good spring training after spending last year in AAA. Ortiz learned to throw a curveball, so that was the story on him, and it's helped him come back. He was with the Angels when they referred to themselves as the Anaheim Angels from '99 through '04. And he kind of rattled around Cincinnati, Washington, Minnesota, Colorado, Fresno. He's a string bean, 5'11", about 165 from the Dominican. Meanwhile, Stephen Drew popped a short, fly to left, hit by a pitch, 0 for 2. One and two. Dodger record, we gave it to you at the very start of the game. No big deal. But they would like to get above the 500 mark at Dodger Stadium for opening day. They are, well, were 24-24 here, including the Coliseum, 27-25 since 1958. 1 and 2. A roller to Carroll, so he gets his feet wet defensively. 1 away. Clayton Kershaw went 5 1/3. Allowed 2 runs, 4 hits. Got wild, got out of rhythm completely. But because he had a 5-run lead, he got away from a shaky 5th inning and again in the 6th, and they finally had to come and get him. 110 pitches, but could pick up a win. Meanwhile, there's the man. I mean, he was such a wonderful pitcher, and I use the past tense for the moment, but such a marvelous pitcher, a Cy Young Award winner, and you really hope that Brandon somehow, some way, will be able to come back. Out of Ashland, Kentucky, big man at 6'2", 230 with a great sinker. He'll be 31 in May. Brandon went to the University of Kentucky. Be wonderful if he could come back. Chris Snyder on the phone, sitting alongside of him. 2-2 to count to Justin Upton. Upton has had a bad day. Struck out with Jackson at second base in the first inning. Struck out leading off the 4th. Hit into a force play in the 5th. The force play was at the plate, though he lost an RBI there. Three and 2. And a hard slider takes care of him. And so Upton strikes out 3 times and goes 0 for 4. 8 D-backs have struck out so far today. There's that nasty breaking ball. Upton not even close. So Adam LaRoche struck out, double the left, and flied to center. Right. We mentioned it earlier in looking closely at Clayton Kershaw. He made 110 pitches, but you want to talk about a fella fighting it. He had 59 strikes and 51 balls. I mean, he was fighting it right after the anthem. 2-1. Two and two. Two and two. All three. Both starting pitchers were fighting the strike zone. Neither one had command at all. In fact, Ian Kennedy, remember when Matt Kemp hit the home run in the 5th inning? It was with a 3-ball count. Kennedy had 10 3-ball counts. So that's too much of a high wire act. So a 2-out walk, and here now is Mark Reynolds. Struck out twice, no news there. Walked, and a high fly ball into left center. Kemp is watching this one go out, and that is certainly Mark Reynolds. Strikes out twice, hits a home run. At 40 or more home runs last year, 223 strikeouts. And now, after striking out twice, he hits a bomb. So that makes it 9-4 in favor of the Diamondbacks. Whoa, he got one right down the middle. That old line about trying to throw a lamb chop by a wolf. No way a hitter like Reynolds is going to let that thing go by. Last year, to show you about Mark Reynolds, there were 5 games where he struck out 3 times and hit a home run. 5. Ryan Howard had 4 games of 3 strikeouts and a home run, and Alfonso Soriano had 4 games where he struck out 3 times and had a home run. Just another note on the interesting player named Mark Reynolds. Hard ground ball by the diving Casey Blake down in the corner, and that ball was ripped, and Young is into second base with a double, and he was all over that thing. So the home run by Reynolds followed by the double by Young as the D-backs try to get off the floor.
Second baseman, number 2, Kelly
And now let's see Rick Honeycutt going out to talk to Ortiz as Kelly Johnson is checking in. Ramon Troncoso gets up in the Dodger bullpen and begins to warm up. Dodger bullpen is a little short. Remember, they've lost Corey Wade for a while, and they have also lost Hung-Chi Kuo for a while. So you can see the bullpen almost an earned run average of 6. So it's up to Ortiz now to take care of Kelly Johnson, who has flied to right, grounded to second, and struck out. Kelly is 0 for 3. 9 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers, 4 runs, 6 hits for the D-backs. D-backs have a home run and 2 doubles. The Dodgers have 4 home runs and 2 doubles. Tomorrow night, Chad Billingsley, Rodrigo Lopez. Thursday night, Hiroki Kuroda and Dan Haren, as Chad sits back and takes it all in. One ball and no strikes to Kelly Johnson, trying to pick up Chris Young. That's in the dirt. 2-0. The paid attendance, well, it figured. No news there. A sellout, 56,000, enjoying a splendid afternoon in the ballpark. Two 2-0. On deck, the catcher, Chris Snyder. Two and two. Well, that gets through, so here comes the 5th run of the day as Chris Young scores it. And the D-backs, who have piled up a lot of runs last year, are trying to get back into the game against a wobbly Ramon Ortiz. Kelly Johnson with his base hit and a run batted in. Remember, this is with 2 out. LaRoche walked, Reynolds homered, Young doubled, Johnson singled. So Chris Snyder coming up, and Russell Martin down to the mound to talk to Ramon. 9 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers, 5 runs, 7 hits for the D-backs. Gerardo Parra, an outfielder, left-hand batter, is out on deck. He'd hit for Vasquez. So with 2 out, the D-backs have a little something going, and here's Chris Snyder. And now Joe has waited just long enough to get Troncoso ready, and Snyder will have to wait. So Ramon Ortiz, who did so well in spring training, is disappointing today. He comes out. It's 9-5 Dodgers, and we'll be back. Dodger Baseball on Prime Ticket is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now, come try Jack's new fries. You can get a small order free this Friday. And by your Southern California Ford dealers, where you'll find the new Transit Connect. Check it out at scforddealers.com. Dodgers trying to hold on to what is now a 9-5 game. It was 9-2. And Chris Snyder will try to keep the rally going with 2 out. And Kelly Johnson at first. Ramon Troncoso trying to stop the bleeding here in the 7th inning. And a strike. Troncoso had things change dramatically. He was averaging 9 strikeouts per 9 innings in 08. That dropped to 6 per 9 innings last year. Also, his reputation of being a ground ball pitcher suffered a great deal. And he walked more than usual. And yet, when it was all said and done, his earned run average was far better last year than the year before. Another thing, last year he pitched 42 more innings than he did the year before and allowed just 1 more home run. One and 1 the count to Chris Snyder. And ball 2. Troncoso is in his 5th game, and in 4 previous innings his earned run average 2.2. Ramon 27. Two and 2. Jeff Weaver and Ramon Troncoso each became dads during the winter. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Johnson at first. 9-5 Dodgers. 7th inning. So Snyder hanging tough. Snyder came into the game 3 for 10 with a home run and 5 runs batted in. He did a good job. Suddenly called upon to be the regular catcher. Of course, he was the regular catcher with the Diamondbacks back about 2005. Off speed missed. So a slight edge. Johnson will be going on the 3-2 pitch. And Parra waiting on deck. They're not holding Johnson. He goes, and a ground foul. So still 3-2 to Chris Snyder. Dodgers led 1-0. D-backs tied at 1-1. And it looked like the Dodgers were going to run away and hide. They scored 3 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th. That's 8 to give them a 9-2 lead. Only to have the D-backs come back with 3 and make it 9-5. 3-2. There goes Johnson on ball 4. So it continues. And now Gerardo Parra will be coming up with 2 on and 2 out.
Attention, please, pinch hitting, number 18.
Gerardo Parra from Santa Barbara, but it's Santa Barbara del Zulia in the Dominican Republic. He's a well put together 6-footer at 195. He'll be 23 in May, so he's only been playing a little while. Way off the plate. Ball 1, 1-0. Troncoso with his hands full because for the last 07 and 08, Parra was considered the best pure hitter in the Arizona organization. And drives one to left, but Manny is there at the other end of it. So the D-backs get 3, and at the end of 6.5, it's 9-5 Dodgers. And now the crowd will be asked to stand for the singing of God Bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join in the singing of God Bless America. Performed by a talented local artist, an American Idol finalist last season, and the winner of a 2009 Teen Choice Award. She just released her hit single Scars from her album Just Like You. Please welcome to the field, Allison Irahita.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains, through the prairies, through the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Now, fans, it's time for the California Lottery 7th inning stretch. Be sure to play Mega Millions in the California.
Hanging on, however you want to phrase it. They're in front 9-5. Leo Rosales will become the 4th Arizona pitcher and the 8th pitcher in the game. Leo, born here in Los Angeles, went to Cal State Northridge and was originally drafted by the Padres. Leo will be 29 the end of May. Signed by the Padres in 03 and came up with the D-backs in 08. Casey Blake hit by a pitch, hit a 2-run home run and walked. Well, Blake's had a good day, and for the moment at least, hitting over 400. You know, you talk about hitting 400. You know, there was a 5-year period I don't have the numbers in front of me. There was a 5-year period where Rogers Hornsby averaged, I think, 412 for 5 years. Hit like 424 for this, hit 390. If he wasn't one of the greatest right-hand hitters the game has ever seen, I don't know who was. One away. Yeah, Rogers Hornsby. Remember the trivia question? We were talking about home runs. The fact that Andre Ethier hit 22 at home last year, one short of the L.A. Dodger record. The two players, Gary Sheffield in 2000, Adrian Beltre in 2004, 23 home runs at Dodger Stadium. When you talk about home runs at home, you know only two players in the majors had more home runs at home than Ethier did last year. The Yankees' Mark Teixeira had 24. The Brewers' Prince Fielder 23. And then Ethier hit 22 here. So Troncoso hitting in DeWitt's spot. Remember, he came in. Carroll stayed in and batted 9th. DeWitt walked a couple of times today, 3 times to be exact. Ramon doesn't get a chance usually to swing the bat at all. On deck, Russell Martin. So 1 out, bottom of the 7th inning, 9-5 Dodgers. Little ground ball to short. Stephen Drew. 2 down. For Leo Rosales, kind of nice back in 2008. Leo made his major league debut on Father's Day, and the day before he called to wake up his mom and dad to let him know that he was being called up, and the next day on Father's Day he's in the game. Rosales years ago finished a journey that started at Reseda High School in the Valley by way of East Los Angeles. He was accepted into the city busing program in order to get out his home area, though it meant a ride of about 70 minutes to school and as much as 2 hours home after batting practice. But it worked out. Sure did. Russell Martin today, scoring fly ball, run batted in, grounded to short and struck out. Rosales has what they call a superb changeup, along with a fastball and a curveball. Somewhat of a violent delivery. He kind of hurtles off the mound. He held the opposition to a .235 batting average, whether left or right. Back in 07, he made a mistake. He got angry, blew a save, punched the wall in the bathroom, broke his hand. That's when he was with Portland, and he had to have surgery and a titanium plate and 6 screws inserted in his hand. And as Leo said, yeah, I was angry. I did something stupid. It cost me 5 months. But it was a live and learn type of deal, I'm sure. So a 2-out walk to Russell Martin, and Jamie Carroll, who got into the game as a pinch hitter for Jeff Weaver, then stayed in to play second base. As a pinch hitter, he walked. And a strike. Jamie, 276 last year, 277 the year before. Oh, and 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. On deck, the leadoff man, Rafael Furcal. And that's heading towards right field, and it will drop. Rounding second, and now hung up is Martin. And they'll put the squeeze on him. And eventually the tag is going to be made by Adam LaRoche, the first baseman. So a pop fly single, but Martin rounds second and runs out of the inning, and it's 9-5 Dodgers. As we go to the 8th inning, the upcoming schedule, well, you have Arizona here tomorrow night, Billingsley and Lopez. Thursday night, Kuroda and Herron, and then the Giants will be in Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon. And then the Dodgers go back east to Cincinnati, Washington, and the Mets before coming home for a big 4-game series with the Pirates to open up the next homestand. Meanwhile, the one thing about today's game that kind of takes the steam out of any game, the base on ball. It is 9-5 Dodgers. We have had 14 walks in the game. The Dodger pitchers have given up 7, and the D-back pitchers have given up 7. So the natural and normal conclusion is, well, they're only a week out of spring training. But we've also had a couple of hit batters. We've had several wild pitches. So it has been a sloppy game up to here. The one good thing, no errors, and 1 or 2 fine defensive plays. And that gets us to the 8th. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Jonathan Broxton will begin to loosen up as Troncoso prepares to pitch to Connor Jackson. And we open up the 8th inning. Connor Jackson single to right, walk, hit into a force play, and popped up. His force play was actually a base hit taken away by Rafael Furcal. This time he drives one and another Gold Glove. Matt Kemp makes the play. Well, that ball was really whacked, and it was just starting to take off. That's why he had to jump in the air. So a fine play by the Gold Glove center fielder, Matt Kemp. Torrey Hunter would be proud of that one. And for Jackson, he is now 1 for 4 with a walk. Stephen Drew popped to short, flied to left, hit by a pitch, grounded out, 0 for 3. And line drive base hit. So Troncoso, who had the reputation of being a ground ball pitcher, and that changed dramatically last year, has come in and faced 4 batters. He walked Snyder. A line drive by Parra that was caught by Manny Ramirez. The line drive caught by Matt Kemp, and now a single by Drew. So that has to be a cause of concern for the Dodgers. What happened to the ground ball? Two runs and 4 hits off Kershaw. 3 runs, 3 hits off Ortiz, and now a base hit off Troncoso. And Justin Upton, who has had a very tough day, an extremely talented right fielder, is not only 0 for 4, he has struck out 3 times. And ground ball wide of third, so he got that ground ball just when he needed it. And for Upton, 3 strikeouts and a double play and a long 0-4-5. And it's still 9-5 Dodgers. Opening day, and the Dodgers trying to tie a ribbon on it, leading 9-5. Blaine Boyer will come out of the bullpen and pick up for Arizona. And for the Dodgers, Rafael Furcal will start it off since the last out was made on the base paths. Blaine Boyer, who has certainly been around, 6'3", 215, out of Atlanta. Been in the big leagues a little over 3 years. With Arizona last year, 0-1. Had spent about 6 years with the Atlanta Braves. He is no relation to the others, but Boyer is a famous name down through the years. You had Ken Boyer, an all-star third baseman basically with the Cardinals, who played for the Dodgers. You had Cleet Boyer, who played third base and was dazzling for the Yankees. And you had Cloyd Boyer, who is a sidearm reliever with the Cardinals. And here's Blaine Boyer. 2-1 the counter for call. Fly deep to right, fly to center, grounded to short, single to center. Raphael 1 for 4, made the fielding gem of the day to help Kershaw back in the 5th inning. Skies one to left. Connor Jackson is there. For the Dodgers, little muscle game today. Started out with Manny Ramirez hitting one estimated at 435. Then Casey Blake hit one same area. Then Matt Kemp went the other way to deep right center. Then Andre Ethier lifted one into the right field stands for the 4 blasts. So the Dodgers have piled up 9. Ramirez waiting his turn, but he's got Kemp and Ethier. And Boyer undressing Kemp with that fastball. 1 ball and no strikes. Kemp had grounded out, struck out, homered, and hit into a force play. Two and 0. Fouled away. Seven times last year, Blaine Boyer went 2 innings in relief. He did it against the Dodgers in August. 2-1. Breaking ball whacked to the gap in right center, and that will go to the wall. Matt going into second base, and he'll hold up. So that was the answer to the undressed pitch. That pitch that drove Kemp out of the box. He doesn't say anything. He just promptly doubles to right center. The good ones always seem to answer that way. And the batter now will be Andre Ethier. So Kemp, with a double and a home run, goes 2 for 5. And here's Andre with a single and a home run. Flied out, lined out. So Andre has scored twice and has knocked in 3. So Kemp at second base, 1 out, another extra base hit. The Dodgers have had 4 home runs and 3 doubles. 7 of the 10 hits. Ethier with Ramirez on deck. Manny getting ready. It's been Ian Kennedy, then Norberto, Vasquez, Rosales, and Boyer. For the Dodgers, it's been Kershaw, Weaver, Ortiz, and Troncoso. The starting pitchers, and that's going to go to the screen as Kemp goes to third. The starting pitchers are involved in the decision. Right now, Kershaw to win and Kennedy to lose. Backhanded effort got away from Chris Snyder. That might be a pass ball, but they're going to say wild pitch, I guess. But you can see Snyder had a very good chance of catching that. Yeah, we've had several wild pitches in the game. Infield's up. 3-0 the count to Andre with 1 out, and Kemp at third and Manny on deck. You talk about Boyer being on the horns of a dilemma. There is no place to hide. and they let him swing, and he pops it up. So Drew will make the catch. Kemp holding, and Ethier. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Jonathan Broxton getting ready for the 9th inning under the eyes of Kenny Howell. So here is Manny. Ramirez flied to right, had a 9-pitch at bat in the 4th inning, fouled off 4, and then hit one 435 feet for a home run. Then he walked, and last time up, hit a mean pitch down and away, and I mean he lined it, but it was caught in right field by Upton. Well, the boys have helped me out. I was talking before about Rogers Hornsby, and had a 5-year streak. No other hitter did what Rogers did. It started in 1921 through 25, and of course they played like they're playing today. He hit 397, 401, 384, 424, and 403. Now that doesn't make him one of the most outstanding hitters to ever play the game. By the way, the Dodgers with a 1-2-3 punch home runs by Ethier, Kemp, and Ramirez. The last time that happened was in August the 17th, 2008. Jamie Carroll along with Andre watching Manny fouled away. Oh, and 2. So Boyer gave up the fly ball to Furcal, the double to Kemp, pop fly to Ethier, and he's got Ramirez 0 and 2. Foul back. Throwing pretty hard. Manny just did get a piece of that thing going by. Blaine Boyer pitched an inning against the Pirates on Saturday. He's had 3 straight scoreless appearances. Nice way to begin the year. 1 and 2. Boyer has gotten the first batter, which is always important, especially for a reliever. He is 4 for 4 when he got for call in this inning. And 2 and 2. Standing at third, Matt Kemp doubled and moved over on the wild pitch. On deck, James Loney. 2 and 2 to Ramirez. And got him. So Boyer stayed on him, kept throwing hard, strikes him out. Dodgers leave Matt Kemp and open the gates and welcome Jonathan Broxton. Dodgers lead 9-5. And we've arrived at the 9th inning. The Dodgers will now use their 5th pitcher, which is the 10th pitcher in the game, and it's Jonathan Broxton. The Jonathan who suffered that crushing blow in Game 4 of the LCS. Jimmy Rollins driving one into the gap in right center, and Eric Bruntlin and Carlos Ruiz scoring the winning runs. Nevertheless, he's only 25 years old. You think of him as a veteran reliever, but he's really just starting. In the 3 division series games, he allowed 1 run. And starts off ball 1. Reed Johnson is now in left field for Manny Ramirez. 1 ball and no strikes till LaRoche fouled away. Remember, as LaRoche comes up there with a double and a walk, late in the day, shadows begin to split the home plate area, and you have a big guy on the mound who had a strikeout rate of 13.5 per 9 innings. 1-1. That's a strike. 1-2. And of course, the bad news for the hitters in the league, when his strikeouts increased, his walks decreased. And that's going to be hit at second base, and Jamie Carroll makes it look easy. 1 away. So they get LaRoche, and the batter now is Mark Reynolds. Reynolds had a Reynolds day. He struck out in the 2nd inning. He struck out in the 4th inning. And he unloaded a 2-run home run in the 7th inning. Ball 1. Boy, it is a tough time of day to be looking at any major league pitcher, but especially somebody like Broxton, whose average velocity on a fastball is 96. Last year, Jonathan 5-1 at home, 2-1 away, 6-0 in the first half. One and two. One out, 9th inning, 9-5 Dodgers. Half swing, but it got away from Martin. Takes dead aim, bounces it to Loney. So Reynolds strikes out 3 times, and the batter will be Chris Young.
Center field, number 24, Chris Young.
Nine D-backs struck out today. Kershaw nailed 7. Ortiz got 1, and now Broxton takes care of Reynolds. So here's Young, fouled out and singled, walked and doubled. And a strike. A reminder, tomorrow night, Chad Billingsley and Rodrigo Lopez. Game 2 of the series. Rammed that fastball in on the thumbs. So the D-backs are down to their last strike. And that last pitch was clocked at 99. One and two the count to Chris Young with 2 out in the ninth, and Broxton trying to lock up Chop. Yeah, wouldn't you know, at 4:55 p.m. with a big man throwing 99, he strikes out 2 of 3, and the Dodgers win game 1 from Arizona. Beat him 6 out of 9 here last year, and went on to run away with 4 home runs today. 9 runs, 10 hits, and no errors for the Dodgers. 5 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for the D-backs. The winner is Clayton Kershaw, 1-0, and he is 1-1 in his young career against Arizona. Ian Kennedy is now 0-1, the boy from Huntington Beach, taking the loss today, allowing 6 runs. So tomorrow night, the Dodgers will try to get to the 500 mark. If they had lost today, they would have been 2-5 for the first time since 1998. But by winning, they can throw that history book away. And remember, tomorrow night's game with Billingsley and Lopez will be right here on Prime Ticket. For all of us to all of you, we wish you all a very pleasant good afternoon.